Lamelo Ball is the closest player we've ever seen to Pete Maravich. This generation knows all about Lamelo because for the last 3 years, cameras have followed his every move. But most of this generation doesn't know about the legend Pete Maravich. Known as Pistol Pete, like Lamelo, he was a superstar of his generation and one of the most exciting players in NBA history to watch. These two have some eerie similarities. We're going to get to their games, but first, let's get into their upbringings. The world knows of Lamelo's dad, Lamelo Ball. He's a household name because his presence in the media has been daunting at times. On a television station like ESPN, where they focus on sports and the athletes who play them, they were giving primetime coverage to a 50-year-old guy who hadn't played sports in decades and never played on an American big stage as far as professional sports go. It was unheard of, and that's why the world heard it. Now, during Lamelo's father's stint in the media, he revealed things about himself that a lot of the society deemed harmful to his kids.
Mr. Ball, you got your boy down here. Well, down where? Well, we usually take him to jail, but he down the street. I said, okay, here I come. I'm gonna beat his ass, because he should be getting arrested, lying, all that stuff. So he back there just shooting jumpers, and he making every one of them.
Thinking that would, you take it easy on him?
No. I'm very disappointed in you. It's about the childish that you got me on a whole nother zone. I'll tell you his stats so you can see what the hell this is.
2 for 10. 10 turnovers.
I don't give a you heard it, seen it, read it, or wrote it down yourself. I'm gonna say them out loud so your ass can hear them again. End of the third quarter, your ass got 8 turnovers. That's what I'm about to say. You don't have no concept of how you're gonna start the game. The game should have been assists. You're not getting no good shots for people. You're worried about what you're doing. The first one, you launch a 40-footer. You terrible, son. I thought you was better than that, man. You think you're bigger than what you are, and you're not.
I thought he did a great job as a dad, but most of the media portrayed him as using his kids, living vicariously through them, controlling them, and even abusing them. Well, if you think LeVar was bad for Lamelo, you would definitely think Pete's dad, Pistol Maravich, was bad for him. Like LeVar, Press played sports as a young man and didn't become a big star. He played professional basketball for 2 teams that were so bad they didn't exist past 2 years. But like LeVar, Press did develop a use for coaching. And because of Press's lack of ability to excel in professional sports, he vowed to make his son an absolute success. But similar to Lamelo's dad, Pete's dad would use methods that some would say were questionable. When Pistol was 6 years old, Press put a basketball hoop in the view of a certain window in their house so he could be seen playing basketball outside as his son watched. But Pete was not allowed to play. He told Pete to go back in the house, as he would smile, laugh, and celebrate every shot that he made. Pistol would be glued to the window. His eyes would never leave his father. Press's plan was to make basketball look like the most fun and thrilling thing in the world, but tell Pistol he couldn't join in. Press knew that when you tell a child not to do something, they want to do it even more. And this gave Pete Maravich a long love for the game of basketball at a foundational level that would never be removed. When Lamelo Ball was 3 years old, he noticed his 2 older brothers being watched by his mother and father and being praised as they made shots, and naturally he fell right into wanting the same approval. Lamelo and Pistol Pete have a foundational love for the game of basketball to the point where they both couldn't remember a time of life without it. Pistol Pete would grow interest in other sports, but his father Press would sabotage his baseball and football experience by collaborating with his coaches to make sure he would get hurt during their practices. LeVar allowed his sons to try other sports, but put more attention on basketball because when he married Lamelo's mother Tina, he already planned to have a basketball family. So by the time Melo's older brothers tried football and baseball but decided to stick with basketball, Lamelo didn't venture into any other sports. Pistol Maravich raised Pistol with a mentality where his approval was directly associated with Pete's basketball skill. Pete loved his dad and looked up to him so much and wanted his approval that he started putting an insane amount of work into his basketball skills. At 7 years old, he could be found dribbling and shooting 9 hours in a day, only breaking to eat. He would use his imagination to create impossible dribble moves and spend hours practicing until he could do it. Pete would do trick shots until they became normal shots. He would dribble to school, into the grocery store. People around town began to say, "Here comes Pete and his girlfriend," referring to the basketball. When Pete joined his high school team, every opposing school would just say, "Guard Pete." He was a local sensation in his town, and people were amazed with his skill. In high school, he would average 33 points per game, and there was no three-point line at the time. Pete could shoot anywhere on the court, so if there was a three-point line, he would have had 10 to 15 more points a game. Lamelo Ball was born to a mother and father who played collegiate basketball. this would play a huge role in his upbringing. At 7 years old, he'd be up while the sun was rising, running hills in Chino with his brothers. The run of the litter, he added extra effort to keep up and felt he always had to work harder because he was smaller. When he was in the classroom, he couldn't wait to get back on the court just like Pistol Pete. After school, he went into training mode, doing push-ups, pull-ups, and putting up shots. Lamelo played older competition always and took the AAU circuit by storm, displaying his advanced skills for such a young player. In college, Pistol Pete broke the NCAA record for scoring, and in the NBL, Lamelo broke the record for youngest player to get a triple-double. Clearly way above their competition, the similar way they both played the game of basketball cannot go unnoticed. Both being oversized point guards, they displayed unbelievable dribbling skills. When you combine the hours both of these players put in dribbling before the age of 18, it would most likely be more than a decade. The next impressive attribute that these two share is an uncanny ability to find the open man on the court. Their passing is simply unnatural. Not only is their court vision impressive, but the way they deliver the ball to their teammates is as well. No-look passes are a way of life, and fancy moves before is a must. And finally, the way these two players have an ability to score is not human. If they decided to go a game without passing, they could create their own shot with ease and score a plethora of buckets from all over the court. People have compared Steph Curry and Steve Nash to Pistol Pete, but from their upbringing to their moves on the court, there is no other player even closer to Pistol Pete than Lamelo Ball. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Ball facts again. Peace.